A felon married to an immigrant is telling us that the problem is immigrants and felons. Huh.
Hey guys, welcome back to another one. It is Sunday, July 20th, 9:10 p.m. Eastern Time right now. I'm editing a video right now to put up for you guys, which should be up probably by about 10:30 or 11. I was just taking a quick break. I went on X. I found 3 clips instantly where I was like, oh, shoot. I gotta put editing on hold for a few minutes because I need to make a video about these 3 clips. That being said, let's get into it.
So you guys better get your fucking popcorn ready. Trump looks like he is suing Rupert Murdoch. But, you know what's real funny about that? Hard to read here. Hold on. Represented by Donald J. Trump, pro se. What does that mean? He's representing himself. Yeah, he's not using a lawyer. Yeah. He's going to go in there and own that judge and work that courtroom, man. That's how serious he is about this fucking lawsuit. Oh my God. Now this should be entertaining.
Alexa, what's the mortality rate for chronic venous insufficiency?
In 2015, chronic venous insufficiency's annual mortality rate was 0.014.
Fuck! Alexa, what's the mortality rate of someone that has chronic venous insufficiency that's 79 years old?
From NIH.gov, the mortality rate was 35%.
Anyone else notice that every single time some really particularly dumb MAGA chud comes across your FYP, making a really particularly dumb MAGA chud take, their fucking stitches are turned off? That's because they're cowards.
Excuse me, Mr. President, are those cankles or those the Epstein files in your sock?
If I had to take a guess, looking at that as a non-medical person, I would say his legs are so swollen because he's so full of
I would rather share my country with someone who crossed rivers and deserts to be here than someone who won't even cross their own street to help their neighbor. Listen to it again.
Hot take. MAGA is a terrorist organization. The United States is a terrorist country. And what we are doing to Mexicans is ethnic cleansing. I will not be elaborating, and if you are unable to recognize pattern recognition, that sounds like willful ignorance dressed up as patriotism.
Can you feel the shift? It's starting. Men are being exposed for being the frauds that they are. There's nothing alpha about them. They don't protect. They do not provide. They are the most selfish individuals on the planet. They are responsible for 99% of violent crime. When women rule, which is coming, rape will be punishable by death. Sexual harassment, castration. Abortion available on every street corner, but will castrate you.
Okay, that was just a short clip. There's a music track in it. I'm hoping that YouTube lets me get away with it. If not, I'm hoping that YouTube will let me edit it out in the background and I'm not wasting my time recording on it here. So if this video's up with this clip and I'm rambling on about it right now, it went okay. But she sits there and says that men are useless. That's typical from feminists, right? Then says that men are the most selfish creatures out there. Have you feminists not really taken a good look in the mirror? Just look at how you guys talk. Rape, punishable by death. There's no defending rape. So I'm just gonna leave that one alone. Sexual harassment, castration. Would that literally just mean somebody just hitting on you? Is that considered sexual harassment? I know in the eyes of a feminist it is. So for that, for throwing a compliment at a female, you're talking about castration. And then abortions on every street corner. So these are the 3 things that she really wants to implement when women rule, which thank God they never will, because that really sounds like it sucks. If there was gonna be any type of matriarchy, if there was gonna be any type of female rule, it definitely would not go to the current feminists of today. You guys are insane. The worst thing is, like, when this feminist movement was really picking up, at least at first it was really like, I guess the ones that were very pretty. Now you just have like the plain Janes saying the same thing. If that sounds misogynistic to you feminists out there, I apologize. But if you're gonna speak a big game, at least have the artillery to back it up. What really gets me about this feminist movement is what you guys are doing. You guys are literally dismantling society. Society does not work without man, woman, child. And whenever I get into a conversation about feminism, it always brings me back to the male loneliness epidemic. Why do I put them together? Because they don't really have one to do with the other, right? None of us men that are on the right, no Christian man is with a liberal feminist. And the only people we ever hear talking about the male loneliness epidemic is usually the feminists on the left. Little convenient. But the real bone that I have to pick with the feminist movement is what you guys have done and what you're still currently doing to the nuclear family, which in turn directly affects society. You guys have the nerve to sit there and say that men are selfish, when you guys in reality are committing the most selfish act that you can. You're ripping apart the very fabric of society, which is the nuclear family. Your views on reproductive freedoms are as selfish as they can get. Now, am I saying, hey, go out and start a family today? No, but you don't have to promote your view on abortion the way that you guys do. You guys have literally no respect for infant life. You praise to other women that feminism is the way to go, when in reality, feminism leads to loneliness. It leads to nowhere. If you're not going to start a family, eventually at some point in your life, who are you going to end up with? If you honestly feel that having a high-paying job and having your independence is going to sustain you for the rest of your life, okay, it may seem that way now while you still have your youth and while you still have your looks, for those of you feminists that actually do have looks. But that only lasts so long. Eventually, you're going to grow out. Yeah, I'm going to use the words grow out of this feminist movement. You're going to eventually mature, and you're going to realize that your career and your independence has still left you lonely in the end.
Fine, cancel him. See how that goes. Because you know what he can do now? He can just do his own show. I've only ever watched his show on YouTube anyway, so I'll just keep watching it there, and he can keep all the money. If he even wants to. It's not the first time I've watched the legacy players, like the old guard of a media industry, just self-own to such an extent that even the most checked out people, even people who don't follow the industry or aren't a part of it, can't help but notice how irrelevant they've become. So yeah, get rid of the one thing that anybody watched after 9 p.m. and, you know, keep milking Star Trek spinoffs for a little while, and then that'll be it. That'll be all she wrote.
German media is referring to the Republican Party as America's fascist right party, and goddamn, they would certainly know.
While I don't believe in God, I do believe in karma, and that bitch was on fire today. Donald Trump has been diagnosed with a chronic venous insufficiency. While it's not life-threatening, but it is progressive, and that it causes blood pooling, pain, and a reduced quality of life.
I can't wait until the day that I open my phone and I see the big news. I think you know what I'm talking about. I just can't wait. Oh my God.
If your only argument is because the Bible says so, you don't have an argument at all. I love the Bible, but using religion to create policy makes no sense. We live in a republic, not a theocracy.
Stop trying to argue with Christian conservatives whether it says anything about homosexuality in the Bible. Who fucking cares? You don't want to be gay? Don't play scissors or tummy sticks. I don't fucking give a shit. I'm done trying to placate believers by giving them time in this debate. Even if God is real, he's not. Spoiler alert. The Bible also said that eating shellfish and wearing two fabrics at the same time was a fucking sin. Stop wasting your fucking time with these people. Have a great fucking Sunday.
When you use your big boy fingers to type out something hateful and nasty to a woman, just keep in mind, you never know whether that woman uses her witchcraft or not. Because some people don't even know that we have magical powers. And some women know, but they ignore them because, you know, religion, whatever. But some of us, oh, we are full witch. And some of us, we only use our witchcraft for good. We would never use it to bring harm onto another person. But there's always a time to start.
Okay, I know I've asked it before. I'm gonna ask it one more time. Do you think crazy people know that they're crazy? I used to believe in these people that can like read your future. At least what I can say is I wanted to believe. I've always had an interest for that side of things, is the mysterious side. But as I've gotten older, as I've gotten a little bit more in touch with religion, and I've realized everything in that part of the field is just considered pagan. Even if it is real, it's not of God. And it's kind of funny also because the only people that I call, the magical people, the 4 a.m. club and whatnot, they're always on the left. Besides always having like a disability or being neurodivergent or something along those lines, the ones that I say self-diagnose themselves. I do understand that there's people out there that have genuine disabilities. I mean, that's on the left and the right. It has nothing to do with politics. It just seems like it's a much bigger thing on the left. And it's the same thing when it comes to people that are into tarot cards, people that are into, like it's the retrograde of this and the retrograde of that, who I refer to as the magical people. They refer to themselves as witches. Now, okay, if you witches are out there and you witches are real, how come we never actually see any evidence of it? How come all the predictions that all of you have made, how come every single prediction has been wrong thus far? I mean, if you're gonna go with the shit sticks to the wall theory, then anybody can be right. If you're gonna make 1,000,000 predictions, eventually one's gonna come true. But that's the shit sticks to the wall theory. There's nothing authentic about that. And then, okay, like this woman here claimed, some of us, witches, like to use our powers, our magical powers. She actually referred to it even as magical powers, for good. What good have any of you apparent witches done? But what it comes down to now is it's just one more thing that we can throw on that side of the field with the liberals that just doesn't give them much credibility. There's already so much stuff piled up on them that makes them look a little bit crazy. But what it all comes down to, if you guys really look at it, the big picture here, guys, this is your political opposition. This has always been your political opposition. This is the political opposition all over the world because the ideology is the same. It doesn't matter what country you're in. They all have the same worldview. Before Trump came down those escalators, did we truly know just how big of a difference it was between right and left? No. We always knew that there was a difference. We always knew that there was a gap, but the gap became much bigger. What became very apparent is that there is a serious issue on the left when it comes to mental health. And the fact that these people have the legal right to vote and have been successful with their votes in the past is truly a scary thing. And again, this is the reason why I keep doing what I do here on YouTube. I'm exposing truth. That's my whole point behind this. My main goal here is to constantly remind people there is elections coming up again in the future. There's by-elections, there's another presidential election in 2028. These are the people that want to run your country again. You have to constantly remind yourself of that. The truth has been exposed now. You know what they really are now at this point. It's more important now than ever that you do not let these guys get back in the White House. Not with this type of worldview.
So considering we're all pretty much legislatively screwed for at least the next year and a half, would it make any sense for Democrats to start introducing bills that have no chance of going anywhere for no reason other than to just point out the Republicans' hypocrisy? So, for example, we're going to be tough on crime and introduce a bill that would cap the number of felony convictions for a presidential candidate at 30. Well, since Trump has 34, he'd be ineligible. Or the spouse of a presidential candidate has to also be eligible to run for president, i.e. immigrant. I don't know. I know it would not go anywhere and it'd be a waste of time and money, but the party needs some petty.
Protest at the home of ICE agents. They say they wear masks because they're so afraid for themselves and their families. Well, they terrorize families. So if they feel even an inkling of fear that these other families feel, then I think that is a great success. And if you don't like it, you can quit your fucking job, you fucking Gestapo secret police motherfuckers.
Yeah, we always knew who he was, who he is, right? I'm not so freaked out by the Epstein list. I'm disgusted at how obvious and glaring it is, and that you still have people who are either part of this ring, 1.1 billion given to Epstein, or they're idiots.
So, like, there's actual bad people in this world doing actual bad things, and then there's you, and you're apologizing for being weird, for being awkward, for being different. You're silly and normal, and you're beautiful, and you have nothing to apologize for. So keep being you, friend.
Do I think I'm a better human being than every MAGA motherfucker? No, I don't. I fucking know it.
I just love waking up to the news that while we were sleeping, Republicans voted at 2 a.m. to defund public broadcasting, rural radio, and emergency alerts. This isn't just NPR or PBS. We're talking about local emergency services, rural stations, Amber Alerts. They wouldn't even protect basic life-saving communications. Congress is supposed to serve us, not the sitting president. Senator Patty Murray said it best. I voted no. Call your senator.
I finally agree with the Republicans on something. Let's open Alcatraz. Let's keep Rikers Island open. And what we should do with those facilities is send every last MAGA person to them, because they are all traitors and do not deserve to be out in the public with the rest of us civilized folk. Remove every one of them from society, put them in these facilities, and then we never have to deal with them again. While the rest of us are trying to move forward and progress into the future, MAGA has done nothing but hold us all back. They are a cancer to our country and to the rest of the world. And we need to make sure that they are sat aside, put in time out, and understand what they've done. There is no rejoining with them or uniting with these people until they've been held accountable and take some personal accountability and apologize for what they've done to the rest of us. There is no forgiveness. Not now, not ever.
All right, guys, as I said, I went on X. I was just taking a break from editing my video, my other video, not this one that I'm recording right now. And I came across these 3 clips back to back to back. And once I watched this guy's clip, this was the 3rd one that I found. I played them in the same order that I found them. I was like, yes, I definitely got to bust out the camera and hit record. Because just as I said in the last segment, this is what you're up against. These are the people that want to get back in power, and you can see that they don't have good intent. They have extremely woke ideology. They will run woke policy after woke policy. They think an open border is a good thing. But as I mentioned a couple of videos ago, what they wanted to do for the people that refused to get the poke, they wanted to put them in camps. That's exactly what this guy's talking about here. So it's really funny how the liberals have run a very big game on fascism and Nazis, yet this guy's using complete Nazi language. He's stating that the MAGA people, that's what they like to call everybody on the right, is the MAGA people. Everybody who does not vote Democrat, in their mind now, is the MAGA people. In their mind, they are not just your political enemy, they are your societal enemy. And the scary thing is, I know this is just one guy who's saying this, and it's pretty harsh things that he's saying. He's talking about putting everybody in prison, putting everybody in Rikers Island, putting everybody in Alcatraz, not Alligator Alcatraz, the OG Alcatraz. And in his mind, he thinks that there's nothing wrong with that. He thinks it's completely justified, just like they did a few years ago when they had the brilliant idea of anybody who did not get poked should be put in a camp. Because in their mind, we are a poison to society. Now, don't get me wrong. I've said the same thing about them. I've said that they are a cancer in society, but that I ever legitimately state that they should be locked away somewhere? I've made jokes saying, hey, it would be nice to give them like their own country and like call it like Libertaria. I think they would be happier and I think we would be happier, but would I ever actually try and encourage a plan of some sort, even though that's completely out of my power, to actually have them ejected out of the country or have them locked away in a camp? No, it's absolutely cruel. But them, it's a different story. The party of joy, the party of love, the party of unity is what they like to refer to themselves as. Remember when Kamala Harris was running her campaign and she was running it all on joy, and these guys ate it all up. They truly believed that they were joyful people. Doesn't matter how foul they talk, doesn't matter how cringy their thoughts are, does not matter how violent they can get. They still truly believed that they were the party of joy. And the sick thing is that hasn't changed. They still truly believe that they are now. Even when they say things like this guy still went home and feels that he's on the right side of history because these people are so brainwashed. And it all started, yes, with their party that they were voting for. But you guys will notice after Donald Trump was inaugurated the Democrats kind of pulled it back, was like, all right, good game. Game's over. We'll see you in 4 years. These guys, their fan base, didn't get that. They did not understand why the Democrats stopped fighting because they truly believed that Donald Trump was a danger to democracy. And the fact that the Democrats were letting Donald Trump just be inaugurated and go back into the White House confused the shit out of them. And in that confusion, they still cannot see clearly that they were gaslit, that they were lied to. They think that the Democrat Party is just backed off, that they've given up and that they're weak. And they think the liberals, the voters, they think they have to pick up the slack. So their goal politically is obviously to win the midterms and then eventually in 2028 to get power back in the White House. That's their main goal. But that's all so they can try and pursue the MAGA people from 2028 and on. Keep in mind, in society, they still truly believe that they are the majority. I don't know how you can explain losing an election being the majority, but this is what they believe. And this is only 6 months in. This can get worse. Like I just asked in a previous segment before this, sometimes do you think a crazy person knows they're crazy? Do you think a bad person knows that they're bad? And that's what we have a massive case of here. Look at the language that he's using. They've been wanting to call the MAGA people fascists and Nazis, and we've always been saying, you guys don't even really know what a Nazi is. They are acting like a Nazi themselves. Not all of them, but individuals like this, the way that he's speaking, he's using complete Nazi terms. And the creepy thing is he's not even aware of it. So once again, use this as a reminder. My whole purpose of what I really strive to do on this channel is to constantly remind the American citizens, come election time, you cannot let up. You have to have the same mentality of too big to rig. You can lose control of the country just as easy as you gained it. If by any chance the Republicans lost control of the White House in 2028, there is a very good chance that the next Democrat president that comes in would run the same type of policies that Joe Biden did. And if they were to gain control of the White House again by 2028, that soon, remember my prediction is 12 years. If they were to get it back in 4 years, which is a snowball's chance in hell of happening, but it can happen if the voters get lazy. And if it did, I believe America would be in much worse trouble than they were during the Biden administration. And this goes for 2026 also, guys. You guys really need to get out there in 2026 and flood those ballot boxes to keep those Senate seats. If the Republicans do not have control of the House and the Senate during this presidential term, during Trump's second term, his second term will go to waste. And the reason I want to stress on 2026 so much is it seems to be a trend that when a new political party gets in control of the White House, 2 years later they lose seats in Senate. Most voters left and right don't seem to have that same sense of urgency when it comes to the by-elections, but the by-elections this time around is just as important as the presidential election just was. Alright guys, I've rambled on long enough. That's it for me. If you guys are new to the channel and you're not subscribed as of yet, please consider doing so. If not, if you can like the video, share the video, interact with it in one way or another. And until then, I shall see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, guys.
Takes over the greatest mess ever left. A new president. 9/15/08. It was the greatest collapse in modern U.S. history. It happened on GW's watch. Fourth quarter of his 8th year. Destroyed our economy. Millions and millions lost their jobs. Market in the tank. He takes over and has 8 straight years of job growth, 8 straight years of economic growth, both records. All while the Republicans were working with him? No. Oh, were they working, just not doing anything? Just not doing anything? Or did Mitch McConnell say that we're going to vote against everything he puts on the House floor? Did he say that he'd be a one-term president? Did he? Did President Obama take one of the greatest negotiators in political history, President Biden, as his vice president? Did he select him? He did. And did they restore the economy, leaving that fucking failed piece of shit who's all over the list, the greatest economy in the world, just like President Biden did this time, only for him to destroy it again? Yes. Are you struggling on focusing on what's happening today? You are. You are. Because you're too weak. That's why you hide your face. That's why you have this little, whatever it is, as your profile picture, because you know who you support. You know you support a man who surrounds himself with men in prison for serious crimes against little children. You know you support a man that is the fucking list. You know you were conned. You know you were duped. But you knew. You knew who Taco was. You knew who he fucking was when you voted for him, because you saw all the pictures. You saw them with him and Epstein. You saw those pictures and still fucking voted for that guy. And he duped you. He fucking got you. Like he always does, because you're his greatest victims. So now you're trying to blow smoke about fucking 8 years ago because you can't live right now. And today, because you're too weak. You're too fucking weak. So you're going to go after one of the greatest presidents in U.S. history. Nothing in that Steele dossier was proven wrong. There's only a few things that couldn't be corroborated. That's the SA charges against women and the PP tape. Those are the only two things. But now, I mean, that makes sense. Yeah, it's not corroborated, but I believe it 100%. And so do you. But here you are, doing everything you can to not hold that man accountable for his actions, for his fucking lies to the American people. Love letters, writing him love letters. The Wall Street Journal dropped that story. I'm going to sue the Wall Street Journal, Taco says. Do it. Fucking do it. It would be a first-year attorney's dream if he sued the Wall Street Journal, because then they'd go into discovery and he'd have to show it all. And then what will you do? What would you have done if President Biden had released that list? If he had been allowed to release the list, but he was blocked by the Supreme Court and Ron DeSantis from these, what would you have done? You'd have done shit like this. Shit like this. One of the greatest presidents, one of the fucking most amazing presidents in this country's history, all while the Republicans were sabotaging him. He outsmarted them at every turn. The greatest mistake President Obama did in your eyes was he was a great president. That's what really, really pissed you off.